Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Finance Fridays with Ubumbingom. So, I'm your host, Lisha, and today we're talking about investing. When do you do it? How do you do it? What's the right time? It's a lot of questions to be unpacked, and we've got somebody who's going to help us do that. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself right now. Hi, Nandipa. How are you?
Hi, Sissy. I'm fine, and you?
Yeah, please.
Na-
How are you and who are you? I think is what we want to know.
okay. I am Nandi Patutani. I'm from King Williamstown in rural areas called Kuzini location. Ne? I studied at Southern High, my primary, tertiary at NNMU. Currently, I'm working at Buffalo City College as a lecturer, lecturing different subjects, entrepreneurship, wholesale, new venture, economics. So that's Unandi Patutani for you.
We are so happy to have you on the series, Nanjipa. And obviously, as you stated, you are a jack of many trades within the finance space. And we are going to get what we need, is what I'm getting. At the end of the day, we're going to get the information we need. So today, we're talking about investing. As some of you may know who've been watching the series, we've already covered savings and budgeting. So now I've saved. I've budgeted imali corner, so I'm thinking, what am I going to do with it? And I hear things about investing. So what we want to know today, Nadipo, what is investing? What does it mean to actually invest in Maliako? What is investing? And what are the benefits of investing?
Benefits of it. Okay. Basically, when you're investing, ne, that's when you put money aside, or that's when you put your money on an activity that will, in the end, give you a gain or benefits. Ne? So you've got this money, so you decided on this money, I want to gain something. I want to gain something on this. So you also mentioned about saving. Because when you save, you also put money aside. But now difference is that when it comes to investment, there is a gain, more like an interest that you get from actually putting this money on an activity or money aside. So now, what are the actual benefits of actually the investment? Your money is going to grow. Ne? And also you become wealthy as a person, which is uber rich, you feel rich, ne? Because the minute you invest, they will tell you by the end of, let's say, 5 or 10 years, this is what you get. So you see your wealth, ne, as you invest. And also it gives you less stress as a person, because if you know that you're investing so much, you know that you've got money that will come either in 5 or 10 years' time. So you'd have less stress as a person. And also, when it comes to investment, another benefit is the fact that if ever something happens unexpected, then you've got that investment where it can actually save the situation at that very moment. Like if there's death or there's an accident, you can take that investment. And some of the investment, they give you that option about, okay, you're not going to take all of it, you're going to just take a certain portion of that money. So those are actually the benefits. And also you also save on tax, because when it comes to the retirement, you also save on that. You don't pay much of a tax when it comes to the retirement. So that's basically the benefits of investing on money.
I'm not sure about other people, but definitely I didn't even think about the tax, or which like that could be an advantage. I definitely in the back of my mind know which okay, we are increasing the chamkuras, but I'm not thinking so far ahead that this could definitely help with tax purposes at some point in your life when you are a person who's eligible to be paying your tax anyway. So now I'm hearing Yandipa, I'm like, yes, I've saved money and I'm hearing I definitely need to invest because I know what I want to increase in Mali that I already have. What do I need to take into account before I'm like, okay, Yafuna, and I definitely want to invest. I hear the benefits. So what do I need to take into account before I start investing?
Okay. You need to take note of the risk involved. Um, remember, I'm sure a lot of people, they know that there's been a lot of, I don't want to mention names, there's been lots of investment that people are talking about, and they see the ending result as, oh, this is very intensive. I could be a millionaire. Ne? So they get in those investments, and then boom, you don't get anything. It just disappears. So there's always a risk involved. And also, when it comes to investment, you invest in a company. I'm still talking about the risk. Ne? You invest in a company, you see, but it's working good. Ne? There's profits when it comes to this business. But within 6 months, the business dies. Ne? It closes down. So that means all the investment that you put in, you're not getting anything from that. So there's always a risk involved when it comes to the investing in a business. So you need to double check your information before you can actually invest in a specific company. And then also the return on the investment. What are you going to gain? Because remember, when it comes to investment, you said you're looking for the gain in the end. Now you're looking for the interest that you have at the end of the day. So now you need to also take into account, but what am I going to gain from this? Am I going to gain something? So that is something that is very important, because you want to gain something. Ne? Then also the tax implication when it comes to that, and also the inflation. If you look at our economy now, it's not good. Ne? So definitely it will somehow affect your investments on a specific company. It depends on which company it is. So those are the things that you need to consider when it comes to investing in a company or whatever. Remember, it's not only a company, it could be different ways of actually investing on.
I think those are
Yes.
definitely worthwhile things to note, especially when it comes to risk, because I guess the whole point that you want to invest is for you to increase your money. So now you invest and then you lose the money. It's like working backwards. That was not the purpose, so that's not what you initially wanted. Speaking of money, is there a certain amount that a person can start investing? Do you need to be sitting on 20,000, or with my 100 rand? Is there something that I can do and start investing? Is there a certain amount that I need to have in my bank account for me to even consider starting to invest?
Not. Ne? As long as you've got extra money on your account, then you can actually invest. So it's up to you to actually look for the different types of investment that you can actually go into. You can start as little as 100, ne? Because at times you can also find there are certain companies which actually sell shares, and these shares, they can be as low as 5 rand sometimes. So you can always read, ne, and look for different ways of saving. Sorry, not saving, investing. You look for different ways. You read, you listen to them, to the news. You listen to people talking, because that's also another way of actually getting to know the different types of investment, different ways of investing. So you can start as little as 100 rand. That's an estimate, but at the same time, you can even find lesser ones.
Okay,
Yes.
you spoke about maybe buying shares as a way of investing, which now brings me to the next question of what are the different ways of investing, or what different things can you invest in, if you can share with us? Mm.
Okay. You've got your fixed deposits, which is via your banks. Ne? You can also go to the shares, investing based on the shares. You can also invest in properties as well, ne? Because there's also that. And also, there's two other things. Since I was not part of the discussion of savings, ne? But when it comes to savings, there are some savings whereby you don't actually get an interest, ne? But one can also save in stamps if you're talking to the youth, to young people, ne? The food stamps, because that is a benefit in the end, ne? And also the stock files, you can also actually invest on that. So those are the different types of actually investing, examples of investments that you can actually go into.
I'm hearing about stamps for the first time, and I'm curious, are there any, even if it's just one place that you can recommend where people can get more information on where to invest? Maybe do we Google stuff like where do we go? Like now we're hearing that there are different ways to invest. Maybe is there a place where we can get more information beyond this conversation?
Okay. Most when it comes to investment, in most cases, when it comes to investment, you put money into whatever, and then in the end, you get interest. Ne? So if you put in 1,000 rand, then later on, in years to come, you get 1.5. Ne? That's investment. Then when it comes to savings, there are savings whereby you put in money. Let's say I've got 10 rand every week, which is extra from my money. So I put in 10 rand and save for December. So when I'm talking about the stamps, I'm referring to food stamps, let's say from Spar. Ne?
Yeah.
Also, ShopRite has food stamps. So now, as a person or as a youth or individual, you can put in, let's say, 100 rand every month on those food stamps. Now, we were saying that when it comes to investment or saving, you are looking at the future gain. So now, if you put 100 rand, if every month you buy food stamps for 100 rand, then that means by December you have full stamps of 1.2. So that means it actually puts your family in a good position based on the fact that everyone will be here coming for Christmas, you've got money to actually spend, which is 1.2. Rather than in December, you pop up 1.2, which is quite a lot. So you save from January, full stamps of 100 rand. Then by December, you've got full stamps of 1.2. You can spend as much as you want in December. In January, you still save. You don't have any debts. And then also, we've got funeral parlors. Ne? You've got, I don't know if I can actually mention the Makasela. Ne? You put in, I think, 150 for 10 people. So now you're actually saving so that if ever any of the family members have a death in the family, they've got Makasela to actually cover them for those people. And it doesn't matter whether it's someone from the relative from the mother side. It has no category. You just put in 10 people. So you've got things like that. Those things, they don't have interest, né? But they are helping you in the future if anything happens. So that is an explanation of those two things.
Yes, as we covered, and it really feels like these are simple things that maybe we should know already, but we do not in the reality of things, or like the nitty gritties. Why do you think, actually, as young people, we are not as clued up, number one, with investing, but number two, why are we not investing? Why do you think that is?
Okay. One thing I could mention is that one, we don't know about these things, so you don't have knowledge. The minute someone is talking about investing or saving, you think that it's someone who's rich, who's paying 20,000 rand and so on and so on. So that's a knowledge. We don't know that you can save as little as 10 rand or 100 rand. So we don't have knowledge of the different options that we have based on saving. And also, some people get relatives that they don't have money to actually save. Ne? Like uphila ngegrant. Ne? So yena asikho, when it comes to uphila grant, there's 8 people in the household, so they don't actually have money to actually save. So that's another problem. And also, some people, they're skeptical about saving because you hear a lot of things. A lot of things happen. You save money, and then uThutane will get 5,000 rand, and then when you invest, you don't get anything. Company, it was just a scam. So there's lots of scams. So that's why some people are skeptical about actually investing in some companies. And then also, some people do not prioritize investments or savings. I've got 1.5, spend it. Then I'll wait for another salary, spend it. Ne? Another thing that makes youth not save is because they don't see a need to save.
invest.
Mama urichi, tata urichi, tata on a land, all those things. I'm covered. So you don't see a need because kaloku imali it's there. Ikhona
It's there
family.
now, even though we cannot determine if it will be there tomorrow. I want to know
Exactly.
so now what do how see Gqugquzela kanjani? How do we then we realizing these are the barriers to young people investing? Sibagqugquzela kanjani ke ngoku? How do you gqugquzela elihle othi right now I'm sorted ekhaya grand basically, but ungqugquzela njani to say hey you better just be putting something somewhere for a rainy day. Like, how do we, as teachers, as government, as civil society, as whomever, how do we encourage young people to say invest today? How do we do that?
I think that the first step is that as youngsters, as lecturers, we need to educate our students, our youth about the different investments, the different savings. In that way, they'll get to know about it. And then at the same time, when it comes to our people, they need to listen to the news, the radios, and also listen to people talking, because some people, they don't like TV or listening to the radio. So talk to people. There must be a way whereby you can actually get that information, and it depends on you. What kind of a person are you? Lay your use it to your own advantage to actually get to that information, so that knowledge, because one of the points I mentioned is that we don't, as youth, they don't have knowledge about these different types of saving. So you first need to get the knowledge. Then as soon as you get the knowledge, then you'll be able to decide about which one will be viable for me as a person. Then as soon as you get that, then I also mentioned that as soon as you get information from people, but you don't need to have 10,000 rand to actually save. You can start as little as 100 rand or even less than that. Then in that way, I think more people, and also as you give people information, at the same time you motivate them to actually invest or save. Like, for example, rich then what if is not going to share everything with you? What if when Udedi has land, and then later on Udedi has so many expenses to a point that young richness, it's gone, then you'd have nothing. So no, rich right now, you tell him or her, but hey, what if this happens? Then what are you going to do? Now you see yourself as about expensive. Next thing, malayiko down, then uzawuba frustrated, just like thought lihle usuke from le 10 room akokwenu uyohlala eposini, uzawuba frustrated by that thought, and then that will motivate ulihle to actually save or invest in any kind of company or society.
I think you just said such an important point of saying that we must use the platforms that we are already in, or the platforms that we care for, to gain the actual knowledge as or improve age. So if we're on social media, for instance, I'm getting that. Let's source out. If I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, whatever, let me source out companies and individuals who speak on matters that is improving below. Yes, once in a while we're going to laugh at the different videos that people post, but like, let me also initiative is what I'm getting also, is that as young people we must take initiative in improving our own lives by sourcing out. It's nothing which I see when there's something different. If you're already on social media, look for the people who are empowering on social media. If you're on TV or you watch TV, look for the programs that are empowering, like financially empowering with TV. So I think that's a very valid point that I'm hoping that young people are going to take away from this conversation also. So to wrap up our conversation, who's watching, maybe who's saying, definitely I want to invest, it sounds great and whatnot, but I'm not sure now. As you said, Guti, majority of us sit with that. Hey, we've heard. I didn't do 100 rand. I'm win a cent. Can go 100 do you know what I mean? So, what is your
Yes.
message? Yes, what is just your general message to encourage young people to invest? To say, listen, we all at some point going to have a rainy day. So, what is to somebody who's still skeptical, who's saying, yes, I hear it, but no, like what is your message? What is our closing message in encouraging young people to invest?
Okay. I would say to our youth, but guys, we can't always rely on our parents. Ne? I think that's one issue that we have as youngsters, but we rely on our parents. Our mama will be there to save me. We are growing up. Ne? Some of us have babies, and those babies, they actually, we're gonna be those mothers.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your daughter, your son, uzawuthi umama. So when you will be in that position,
Mm,
so we need to get more information. Ne? Mos umama naye khange afikele kulaa khange asuke azifikele phaa. She read, she listened to the television, she listened to people. Then, from the information that she got, she made a choice about, I'm gonna take this one. Ne?
mm,
And then, when she took that decision, she looked at the returns. Ne? What are you gonna gain in the end? She looked at the risk that are part of those investments and then made a decision about, I'm gonna take this one. And
mm,
when it okay, you must weigh up. Don't put yourself in too much debt because you want to invest. Ne? Invest, and then in the end, you must have money so that uzokwazi uphila. Ne? Ungangeni investment, and then after a year, you suffer at home. Then no, you can't do that. Plan. You must plan so that in the end, like gain we born in 5 or 10 years time. Uzoyifumana ne la fruit uyijongile uqonda uba ekhe jonga esasiqhamo sinjena, you're gonna get it, but it needs planning. That's what our parents did. Nathi ke we must also step up and get to that. Sibone eza fruits and plan our future, because in the end we are the future. Abazali bethu bayasweleka, bethu notata bayasweleka, sithi ngoku abanyukayo, and ke xa sinyuka we must live up to that legacy. Now be example,
mm.
so that is basically my message to the youth out there.
Oh,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much, Nandini. You know, you are I hope that people are watching. This is the third episode. I hope people have been watching from the first one, because even last week when we were talking about budgeting, our guest speaker spoke exactly what you're saying, to say, plan it out, budget your life out. I think there's no running away from it. There's no running away. If you want to improve your financial literacy, if you want to improve your financial state, there's no running away from budgeting and setting up. Okay, this is the money I'm going to save. Nanzi imali yokuinvesta, nanzi imali yobumnandi, you know, but there must be a plan. Ingabhubhuzwa nje kungekho plan, you know. It's thank you so much. I feel like